Hi, welcome to Northaven Voices. My name is Susan Kasten, and I am interviewing. Do you like David or Dave? What do you go by?
Most everybody calls me Dave.
Okay, David and Nancy Black. And we have had
Susan.
quite a time getting together, so I cannot tell you how glad I am to finally see you. We were on, and then we were going to a doctor, and then we were having surgery, and then we were off, and then we disappeared. So I'm so glad you're here today with me. That's
Thank you,
great.
Susan. We're glad to be here.
Yeah.
All right. What brought you to Northaven, by the way? Everybody comes by a different path, so I need to ask that all the time.
Well, if you don't know, we're kind of newlyweds. We've been married now for coming up on 2 years
Yeah.
this month. And when we got together 4 years ago, we wanted to find a church home. So we did some church hopping and walked into Northaven, and Diane Merrill threw arms around us, and we got a chance to sit next to Tom and Dottie, who have become very close dear friends. And the joy was we were looking for a church home, and instead we found a church family. Huge difference.
Very, very big difference, and a very meaningful difference. And I think anybody who has been at Northaven more than 24 minutes understands exactly what you're saying. So I didn't know you had been here. So you were a member for 2 years at Northaven as well?
Oh, I think 2.5 years. Almost
2.5?
years.
Okay, so you,
2 years. Yeah.
yeah, you came after I did. So we're both kind of newbies in the congregation.
Oh, yeah.
And that feels good because I can make all kinds of mistakes and nobody even takes me to task. So keep on being you is what I'm trying to tell you. Just go for it. Did you grow up here in Texas? Is this Dallas has been your home forever, or?
Well, I grew up here since I was 15. But before that, I was from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Dave is from Pittsburgh, and but I've been in and out of Dallas over the years, and Dave's been in and out of Denver, Minneapolis. No, LA. You say all the states you've been in.
Well, I spent most of my adult life in Denver, but in my job in hospital corporations, I've been around Cleveland, Detroit, other places like that.
Now, you, Nancy, you know that for sure he's telling us the truth because it sounds a little bit like he's been on the run. So I just want to make sure. What did you do?
That might be more like it. Yeah.
These witness protection programs are terrific.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I won't say a word about it, particularly not on screen. Something's going to be screened. I'm not going to say a word about that. So what did you do in the hospital business?
I spent 40 years. I came up through human resources, and as hospital mergers began to happen across the country, we start with one hospital, then 2, then 12, and next thing you know, we've got hospitals in all 50 states. So I spent in traditional human resources, then spent a lot of time in divestitures and acquisitions, then topped off my career in 10 years of developing individuals for CEO roles. So executive leadership development. So it was.
I probably could use some of that, by the way. Nancy, how did you meet this guy who was in and out of states and zones?
Oh, that's such a great thing to talk about, Susan.
Okay.
We lived for years. A few years. We lived just a couple of streets down from each other, and we didn't know it. And this dear friend who introduced us. Oh, there goes the bird. Do you hear?
I do hear a bird, but I haven't been introduced yet, so I didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, he would love to meet you. Let me tell you that. But this dear friend, yeah, watch out, Dave. This dear friend of ours that I used to just walk the dogs with has a Halloween party every year. So 5 years ago, she introduced us at the Halloween party. And we didn't get together. He had a girlfriend at the time. He didn't come with her to the party. But I told the hostess that I thought, I said, can you check out that Dave guy? I said, I really think he's cute. She says, oh yeah, Dave, let me check on him. So 4 months later, she checked on him. He said he was going with somebody. 4 months after that, Dave let her know that he was available. Was I still available? And she would check. And 4 months after that, Margaret finally got us together. And so a year later, we had our first date after we met. And we never have been apart since then.
She came to the party as Catwoman, so how could a guy forget that?
Really? I mean, when you make a statement like that, it's forever. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, Northaven is glad to have you. Can you tell me how you're involved in Northaven? I mean, you've been there 2 years, so you must.
Actually, 4 years.
4 years. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. So, are you involved in activities or classes or projects or anything at Northaven?
Well, at Northaven, there's a lot of opportunity.
Yes.
I've been involved in the board. I've worked with Bob on co-founding the men's group. I'm currently involved in the Financial Frontier for Northaven group, led by Ken Benson. I'm involved in the Spiritual Journey Ministry with Bob Dupuy. Putting up light bulbs, sweeping the parking lot, whatever somebody asked me to do.
Okay. I didn't hear that you're part of, the Women's Book Club, but we could fit you in if that's the only thing you're not involved in. We'd love to have. How about you, Nancy? Are you involved in?
Well, I started out on the finance committee, and then I went to the membership committee, and I've done all the Sunday school classes, Cornerstone and Spiritual Journey, and whatever else came up. The Bible study with Jack Soper, and I've done the greeters as part of the membership committee. Mm-hmm. I was in charge of the greeters for a while, and that was actually quite fun. I always take on a project, kind of dreading it, thinking, "Oh gosh, this is just going to be time-consuming," but I end up learning so much and having so much fun, and I got to know a whole lot more people by being in charge of the greeters. So that was really fun. Yeah. And right now I'm not actively doing anything with the church except loving it and participating remotely. But we love it. It's our favorite time of the week.
Yeah, I do get that. So you're not just members, you are active and involved and loving every minute of it and meeting new people and making a difference. And I thank you for that. Not everybody does that. I didn't know that, but yes, not everybody does that, but you guys have in a very big way in not a very long time. So thank you. Thank you so very, very much. What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
The woman sitting next to me. I think that I came to love in the later years of my life, and there's a genuine sense that we love each other deeply. It's an adventure. Every day we learn something new, whether we want the lesson or not. Clearly, we feel the presence of God as we walk each of our days together. And I'm just so grateful that all at one time we found each other and we found a wonderful church family. So just overwhelming gratitude is really what I would call it.
How about you? How would you answer that, Nancy?
Yeah, I couldn't say it better, Susan, because it's been such a gift for us. I don't say this late in life, I'm going to say.
You
at
guys
this
don't
point
look
in
that
time.
late to me, honest.
Yeah, right.
No, honest. You don't look that late.
Gosh, that's sweet, Susan. Thanks. But having gone so long without, we both had big gaps in marriages, and both of us been married before, and I guess that gave us more time to appreciate what we really wanted, and not making the same mistakes again. And I just haven't ever been happier. I mean, of course, we all experience different types of happiness. Do you have a Kleenex?
I do, but that might not help you.
Yeah, that got me cheery. But, there are different joys we have in life, of course. And birth of our children.
Yes.
And birth of our grandchildren. I used to think the birth of my child was the greatest joy I'd ever had. And then I had the birth of a grandchild, and I thought, oh, no, I think this is even better. And then I met Dave, and there's no comparison to the different types of love, but this is truly joyful.
Couldn't say it better myself. When sometimes
we just see the world the same way, Yeah.
Sometimes when you look at people from the choir loft, you don't see it. Everybody has a joyful face. But from my perspective in the soprano section, you have joyful faces every time I look down. So I can't wait till I can see you from afar again. So yeah, I've always known. So
That's so sweet, Susan.
Well, nobody says that about me, honest. So, but when I saw your name coming up and I got assigned to interview, I said, oh boy, those people with shiny faces who are happy to be here and obviously are in love. So I knew the answer to that question, but I thought I'd just check myself on that one. How would you describe your spiritual journey?
I think it's exactly it. It's a journey. It really is no sense of a destination. It's, I've been fortunate all my life to feel the presence of God in my life through good times and very dark times. I guess I feel God more than I study God or study the church, or even get on my knees and pray. And that's always been a comfort to me. So I think, to arrive at this age and find a love and a church family is just like you were walking along a dirt road by yourself and stumbled across this wonderful Bavarian village with accordions and horns and people hugging each other. And you can't wait to continue your journey after that. So journey is a good word, Susan.
Yeah. How about you, Nancy? Have you always?
How would I describe my spiritual journey?
Yeah.
This is along the more religious side. I started out as a Methodist very young, and not understanding anything and thinking God's house was the preacher, that said, come back next week. And that was God. And so I grew up very confused about God and who is God and what is Jesus? What did Jesus do? And I don't want to bash any other religions, but through some more conservative viewpoints and friends that I was exposed to and loved them dearly anyway, I was made to believe that my beliefs were not okay because I didn't believe in the standard dogma that you have to believe to be a quote Christian. And so when I battled this all my life, and when I finally came to Northaven and I saw these scholars that, and former pastors and our current pastors, and they've taught me all the different ways to interpret the Bible, the facts of the Bible, the facts of archaeology, anthropology, history, storytelling. I just have had a total release and acceptance of myself and my beliefs as okay. It was all right. It's been okay all this time, and I'm free to express it and live it.
Yeah, there's a wholeness there now, right?
Yeah, totally. And I don't have to worry anymore about saying the wrong thing, because I'm not going to be a quote Christian if I say this, or if I have this or that doubt. You know, it's okay. And they can show me in the Bible now, not where I'm blasphemed, but where I am okay, because, you know, there's something for everybody in the Bible. So, or in just the theology, you know.
And the primary lesson that I've learned along the way is, having grown up in a very traditional church, was the two words, or the three words that really stood out to me, was that we are born sinners, or that we are broken people, and we have to accept that. And it's by faith alone that we are redeemed. And a strong emphasis on John 3:16. But what I've learned along the way is, how is that true if we are born in God's image? I tend to prefer the words that we are not broken, we're not sinners, but we simply are perfectly imperfect. We conformed to God's law of entropy, that chaos does happen in our lives. We're not responsible for that in all forms. Glorious things happen in our life from the point at which we're born until the time that we die. And that the true meaning is not faith or good works, but we are called to simply love. That is, Jesus said, love above faith and hope. That it's our job as Christians, and this has come to life to me through the help of so many at Northaven, to understand that, as Ben would say, to learn that God loves us, and second, to spread that love to others. That's the most important thing that God expects of us, knowing that we will make mistakes along the way.
Thank you. We should have a dinner party and start at noon. We can talk forever about what you've just managed to say so eloquently. Thank you. Do either of you have a favorite verse, that one verse that from the Bible that on a day when you need it is just right there and keeps you not in line, but in focus? Or a story, or a parable, or whatever.
Well, I do. I have, remember Desiderata? The verse that got so popular back in the 60s and 70s, Desiderata. It was spoken on a record. It was written by a monk, supposedly in 1500s. And my favorite quote from that is, I have several quotes, and I've memorized it so much that depending on what obstacle gets in my way during the day, I turn to whatever verse it is I happen to like for that day or need for that day. And I don't know why this one comes to mind first. Maybe at this point in my life, in my career, I'm still working as an attorney, and I'm solo. I was in a solo practice, just myself, and so I sometimes come upon the other side, and they're big guns, and but it applies regardless. It is, do not compare yourself to others, for you may become vain and bitter. For always there will be others greater and lesser than yourself. And that helps me through for some reason. It just be happy with who you are and do your best. And I find that helps me day to day.
Well, I'm glad you shared that with me. That's terrific. Thank you. How about you, Dave?
Probably my mother's favorite verse, which is, suffer the little children to come unto me, because we are all children of God. I think it just reminds me so much of how God sees us in such a tender and accepting, without judgment. And I always get a smile on my face when I see that verse.
Thank you. I'll never look at that verse again like I have in the past. That is terrific. I'm going to carry both of yours with me for a long time. Thank you for sharing it. And so will other people that are going to hear this. I'm always amazed in all the times that I've asked that question all throughout my life. I never get the same verse twice. I think that should tell us a lot about the nature of the Bible, I suspect. Right? Okay. This is kind of a morbid question, but it's something that is still worth thinking about, I think. How would you like to be remembered?
I think the only way is simply through small acts of love with others, because truly that's where I like to live. I'm not one for a spotlight, but I do like to, in some small way, make a difference in the lives of others.
I'm trying to think of what.
And Nancy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would like for, if, it depends on who goes first, Dave or me, or what would I like my.
You guys aren't going anywhere for a long time, so just wipe that out of your minds.
Or my children, or my grandchildren, or I haven't contributed anything great to the world that I can think of. So I would just, you know what I mean. No great inventions or anything. But so simply, I would like to be remembered for being fun, giving people laughter, cooking some good food occasionally, cupcakes, cakes for grandkids. I mean, I want people to remember, and making a happy home, and with beautiful surroundings. That's always been so important to me. And I just want people to remember me as a source of comfort and fun. And that's really it, simply.
Really? And some people find that very, very hard to do. And I have a feeling that you are just a natural at the whole everything.
Oh,
no. No. Oh my goodness. Well, you can tell people that I think you're a natural then, because
Good. That does it for me.
Okay, that's great then. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything, well, this is really a wide open question. Is there anything that you would like to tell the people of Northaven in general? I don't, if you want to tell somebody they shouldn't fall asleep during the sermon, this isn't where the place to do that. Is there anything you'd like to say to Northaven as relatively new people about how, well, I know how you feel about it, but anything you want to say to Northaven? Any suggestions? Where do you think the church should go in the next decade? Anything you want to say?
The word I want to express is gratitude, just to simply say thank you for loving us as we are, no matter what you might say when we're not around. But I think the other thing is that if you're not one of the beauties of Northaven that people may not see on the surface is small groups. That it's so important for people to get connected in small groups. Yes, we have a wonderful worship service and spiritual leader in Anne. We have an over-the-top competent choir. That's one dimension of the church, but I think what's more important is the small groups, whether you're in a poetry group or an art group or men's group, or what's come to mean so much to me is our small spiritual journey ministry groups. That really is the heart of the church. That's what connects people in a very deep and intimate and fun way. And I think we don't necessarily celebrate that as much as we should. And I'm so grateful for how many people have influenced my faith and my life in those small groups in very small ways.
Thank you. Thank you. What about you, Nancy? Do you have something you would like to say to Northaven?
Well, we haven't had any newcomers in a while, I guess, since the pandemic. But if you are a newcomer and you're watching, and hoping we open again soon, I would say join small groups quickly and go into a Sunday school group quickly. Don't waste any time, because the deeper you go, don't just come to the service. The deeper you go, the better it gets, and just go out there, get in there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so very much. We're at about the end of our time here, so I'm going to thank you. I'm going to thank you for taking time. I'm going to thank you for the promise maybe in the future of introducing me to your bird. And I thank you. I thank you for everything you've said today. You've made me think. You've made my heart happy. And I'm going to end this interview with joy.
Oh, it has been a joy, Susan. You've been so sweet, so wonderful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And I will be paying attention to you from the loft. So I can.
We'll watch our P's and Q's.
Well, you don't have to watch your P's and Q's. You just have to know somebody's looking at you. I'm so glad that you're there. So have a good rest of the week, and I hope we can see in person very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Me too, Susan.
We look forward
Thank you.
to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Susan.